Hey, Treasure and Fans, your pal Big D back here again with my top 10 most disappointing movies of 2019. So, I did this list. I didn't want to do I couldn't do a top 10 worst movies because if I think it's bad, I'm not going to go see it. And when I do go to a movie, I always end up finding some sort of redeeming quality every movie I see. But there was several movies last year that I either went to the theater or waited till it came out on DVD. I saw it and went, that's not what I thought. I thought it was going to be a little better than that. And we didn't say, not to say that any of these movies weren't good. They just weren't as good as I was hoping they would be. And I think that there was more that could have been done with these movies to make them a little bit better. So yeah, I mean, I actually own a lot of these movies because I picked them up because I thought they looked good and I didn't get it. So anyways, let's go over this list. My number 10 movie of the year is most disappointing movie was Rambo Last Blood. I love the Rambo series. I really do. I just felt that this movie kind of got lost. I felt that it kind of went nowhere, and I felt there wasn't a really big struggle. I mean, it was all about what I believe was like his niece was kidnapped. He goes into Mexico to find her, and then they all come back, and he takes them all out in true form. I don't know. I felt like it had been done before, and it just didn't really. At least the other movies brought something new. Like when he brought Rambo back after Rambo 3, when Rambo 4 came out, it was just Rambo. It was different, It was yeah. He had to go in, do what he'd done before, but it was much more brutal. It was a lot more, again, brutal than his other movies. This one kind of just kept the brutality, but it didn't really change the story much. It was just kind of the same thing. So I was expecting at least a little bit of subtle differences. I know most Rambo movies are the same way. He goes in, shoots everybody up, he wins. But, I was just expecting a little bit more from this, being that it was supposed to be his last movie, which they kind of left it open-ended, could keep going, even though he said it's the last one. I don't know, I left walking out of the theater saying it was okay, but I wanted more. So my number 10 of top 10 disappointing movies of 2019 is Rambo Last Blood. Number 9 is 47 Meters Down Uncaged. Now, the first one I really liked. It had some flaws in it, and it was the best movie, but I enjoyed it. This movie oh my gosh, I just felt like everybody was stupid. Some of the special effects were really good. Some of the special effects were absolutely terrible. But the characters kept making these really stupid decisions, and stuff just kind of randomly happened to the movie that made no sense to me. So, although I did enjoy it because it's a shark movie and I love shark movies, it just wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting there to be a lot more in this movie than there wasn't. I thought the preview was like, whoa, all right, they're taking a different direction. It's not going to be, two girls trapped in a cage down below. All right, they're in some sort of tunnels, and but it just like, really, sharks been trapped in these tunnels for thousands of years, and they can't see anymore. They're blind, and they just swim around. It's like, there's no way sharks will live down there that long. They wouldn't be able to handle it. They need to be able to swim out in the open ocean. So I don't know. It fell flat for me. So number 9, 47 Meters Down Uncaged. Number 8 is Ma. I think Octavia Spencer is one of the best actresses out there nowadays. I think she's the most amazing actress. And it's not that Ma was a bad movie. I thought it was going to be a lot more creepier and scarier than it was. It was a lot more predictable. And although I still enjoyed it and I had fun with it, I wanted more from it. I thought it'd be a lot creepier. I thought she'd be a lot more sinister than she was. I felt it was very generic. So, I don't know. Again, I thought it was okay. And I probably will watch it again someday. Maybe if I look at a, different rose-colored lens or something like that. But it just wasn't what I was expecting. So, number 8 would be Ma. Number 7, I'm going to put my number 7 on here. Number 7 is The Kid. Now, this was a movie about, it was supposed to be taking place during the same time as Billy the Kid. And Billy the Kid in there. But it had a pretty good cast in there. Chris Pratt was in it, and I thought it was going to be, it just wasn't that good. It was boring. I was waiting for something to pick up, but it just was really boring. It fell flat. I don't know. Again, I'm glad I watched it. I am actually glad I own it because there was a couple scenes that I actually really liked, but I just felt overall the movie was flat. It just didn't really go anywhere, and it kind of like put Billy the Kid in a different light than really he should have been put into. And even though the movie's called The Kid, it wasn't really focused on Billy the Kid. It was focused more on another kid, and he was just kind of a background character a lot, even though it all took place during his era. It just, I don't know. I figured a Billy the Kid movie is going to sound really funny, but I figured it'd be something like Young Guns, and it wasn't. It was, or I figured at least it'd be like more of a documentary, or it'd be something like a Tombstone or something like that, where it's serious, but you get some really good actors in it, especially with the actors that were in it. It just wasn't that. So my number 7 is The Kid. My number 6 is a movie called Replicas with Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves. I think he's a great actor. Not this was a bad movie. It was just really slow. And it didn't make any sense. A couple scenes didn't make any sense, and there was a lot of plot holes in it. Essentially, the movie was about a guy who loses his family, but he's able to use their DNA to replicate them. And I don't know. It was okay. It just was okay. I really thought it'd be a lot more. Usually when Keanu Reeves puts out a movie, it's like, oh, man. It just... I almost kind of felt like he was just doing it because it was like, I'm doing it for paycheck. So my number 6 would be Replicas. My number 5 is Pet Sematary, the remake. I'm a big fan of the original, and I went into this new one thinking, okay, they're going to change some things, but seeing as how Hollywood horror movies have been lately, and Blumhouse coming in and taking over and doing a lot of really cool stuff, I thought, okay, give it a chance. Yeah. I didn't like a lot of the changes they made to the movie. I thought the movie was okay. There was a couple scenes in the movie I really thought were really cool. They were really creepy, and I really liked. But some of the changes they made, I did not like some of the changes they made to the movie from the original story. Or at least from the original movie. I know it's based upon a Stephen King story, but I just didn't like some of the changes they made. I felt they went the wrong direction, and swapping up which kid dies and stuff like I don't know. It really bothered me. And I remember I sat there with my wife when we finished the movie. We were both like, it was all right. I'm glad I own it because I have the first one. I'm completed, so I'd have both of them, but I still think the original 80s movie is much, much better. So my number 5 would be Pet Sematary remake. My number 4 is a movie called High Life with Robert Pattinson. Now, I thought this was another movie that I thought it's a cool space movie. People trying to survive in a lone ship out in the middle of nowhere and trying to survive and stuff like that. I thought that sounds really cool. It got stellar reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It got stellar reviews on a few reviews that I read, and I watched it and I was bored. I sat there looking at my watch going, okay, we're almost over here. It was boring. It just didn't go anywhere. And at the end of the movie, the ending was like, really? I sat through this whole movie and that's what you're giving me for an ending? I just did not like it. And I know a lot of people out there, and more power to you. I'm glad that there's people out there that like that movie. That's the great thing about living here, and that's a great thing about being alive nowadays, is I can like something and you don't have to like it, and vice versa. So I completely get it. Completely get if people didn't like it. I just found it really boring. I was looking more at the clock than we're actually watching the movie. So High Life was my number 4. My number 3 is the Child's Play remake. Now, I know a lot of people said, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. My problem with it is it just wasn't as terrifying as the original. And what I mean by that is I don't mean the little doll run around. What I meant by that was it was an evil guy who possessed a doll with his soul, and the doll was running around killing people. This was just a robot who was programmed, whose program was altered to be evil. That's all it was. It was simple. It wasn't anything, it wasn't anything diabolical. It wasn't anything, it wasn't like what I love about the original movie is the whole movie. Chucky's trying to get this kid alone so he can transfer his soul into this kid and grow all up again and be, this movie. Okay, so the robot's programmed to kill and just goes around killing a bunch of people. It's been there, done that numerous times. I mean, oh my gosh, if I only had a dime for every time they made a movie where a robot went bad. So it wasn't anything new. Here they are, they're remaking it. I understand they wanted to change a little bit from the original, but I think that was a bad choice. Some of the effects were really cool, and it is fun, and I will watch again. It's part of my Chucky collection. I've got all the Child's Play movies. But it's just, I don't know. I was really disappointed, and I wanted a lot more from it. So my number 3 would be Child's Play. My number 2 is Men in Black International. Now, I'm a massive fan of the Men in Black series. I think Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, those movies are great. They're amazing. Love them. This movie to me felt a little short. I don't know what it was. I didn't think it was that great of a story, and it just didn't flow, which was really sad because the actors in it are really good. I'm a big fan of Chris Hemsworth, and I had high hopes. They had a really good cast in the movie, and it really fell flat. I really felt it was a rehash of just the original Men in Black. They tried to cut through a couple new things in that just didn't work. And it just, I don't know, for me, it really felt flat. It did. I think that they should have just ended it here. If they wanted to do the Men in Black, they should have just rebooted the whole thing and done something a little bit different instead of just because this movie is a continuation because they show pictures of stuff that Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones did, so it just, I don't know. I watched, I didn't even have high expectations because I read a lot of reviews saying it was terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. So I went with low expectations, and it was just like, we finished, and I was like, it was all right. It was, I'm glad I didn't pay for it to see it in theaters. I waited for it to come out on Blu-ray, but it was just all right. It wasn't anything to really talk about or walk home to or tell everybody about. So my number 2 is Men in Black International. Now, before I tell you my number 1 most disappointing movie of last year, I'm going to tell you the top 3 movies I refused to go see after I saw the trailers. And those movies are, number 1, Jexy. I think that movie looked absolutely ridiculous about a cell phone that gets jealous. Number 2 is Charlie's Angels, because why mess with what already worked years ago? Why come back and do this again and then make it such a politically correct movie that it kind of ruined? I sat through 3 different trailers for that movie, crossing my fingers. Now, I will admit, I am not a Kristen Stewart fan. I'm not. I'm not a Kristen Stewart fan. I've never been a Kristen Stewart fan. But even with that aside, I watched those trailers and it was like, it really was like just trying to be able to just barely sit through those trailers. It just looked like a hack job. It didn't look like anything new. It didn't have, the great thing about the last couple of Charlie's Angels movies is that Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, they're great actresses. They did a really good job. They spun a little bit of comedy in there, but they were really good actresses and they were meant for fun. They were straight meant for fun. This one, it really felt like in the trailer, trying to make it extremely serious, and that's where they lost me, because it's like, it's Charlie's Angels, really? It's supposed to be kind of, even, I remember watching the original Charlie's Angels on TV. Yes, those were serious episodes, but still, that was for TV. You go to movies, you gotta add something a little bit different. And they tried to make it just, I don't know, at least what I saw in the trailers. And I did walk in. I was going to the bathroom before I went to go see another movie, and I walked in the theaters to look at it a little bit, and I watched like a minute of it. I was like, nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna do this. Not gonna do it. I will tell you this right now, I will not own that movie in my collection. No, I just couldn't get over it. I mean, I had the original Charlie's Angels and the second Charlie's Angels. I love those movies. I think I actually had the first couple seasons of the TV series too, but this movie I felt like they just took the franchise and just crushed it all up and chucked it off to the side. I don't know. It just didn't appeal to me. The biggest one being, my number 1, like, no way I'm going to see that, is Cats. And I'm sure everybody else on here agrees with it too. That movie when I saw the first trailer, it was like, I was terrified. Is this a horror movie? Because it looked so bad. The fact that the first week it was released, they had to reissue the movie with corrected digital effects. They didn't even finish it before it got to the theaters. And it's a Hollywood joke at this point. This is now, if you're as old as I am, it's this generation's Ishtar. And if you're as old as I am, you know what I'm talking about. So, it looked terrible. There's no way I don't care if that movie's on TV with commercials. I am never going to watch that movie. I don't think I could ever possibly sit through that movie. It just looks, makes me nauseous just thinking about it. So those are the 3 movies I refused to see this year. It was only the 3. Everything else is open too. Those 3 I refuse to see. Now, my top 1... I didn't get that. My watch, sorry. My top most disappointing movie of 2019, and that would be obviously X-Men Dark Phoenix. I knew, I'd read the reviews and stuff like that beforehand, but I thought, when it comes to superhero movies, there's so many biased people out there when it comes to superhero movies, and so many people that, regardless if it's a good movie or not, they'll go in, before the movie's even released, they'll go in and slam it, and they'll go on their Twitters and their Instagrams and wherever else they're going on to, and they'll just bash the movie left and right. And so, especially when it comes to superhero movies, I really don't believe any of the reviews. I go in it for myself. I went into this movie, and I didn't really have the highest expectations, because the last couple of, X-Men movies have been okay. Don't get me wrong, Logan was amazing, but the last couple have been okay. They've been fun thrill rides, but they're nothing really to, like, say this is epic, like the first X-Men movie. And, it really had some bad acting in it. It really had some bad CG effects in it. The story was really, literally all over the place. There was a lot of plot holes in it. There's aspects of the movies I do like, and I'm glad I own it. I do own it. I'm glad I do own it because it's part of the series, and I got all the X-Men movies in Steelbook, and, it's part of my collection. But it was nowhere near some of the other X-Men movies, and it really felt like this last movie was just like the actor didn't want to do it anymore. but they were all contractually obligated to do so. So there was a paycheck move for them. Didn't feel like any of them, their heart was in it anymore. And I can understand. They've been doing it for, what, 4 or 5 movies, Some of them even longer than that. So I get it. It's just, it was disheartening to see this franchise, which started off so mighty and so epic, because let's be honest, X-Men came out and kind of is one of those movies that helped usher in this whole new, wave of superhero movies that we're now currently living in now. And it was just really sad to see that this mighty franchise has kind of been knocked down step by step by step as the movies have marched on. So it was just really disappointing. There's still aspects of the movie that I did enjoy, but I just felt like overall, it's like, how did the X-Men movies fall this far? But again, there were stuff that I did enjoy in the movie, and I will definitely watch it again. There's no if and but about it. I just felt that was the most disappointing me one, because I was expecting a lot more out of that than I got. So that is it for my top 10 most disappointing listing movies of last year. Leave me some comments down below. I'm ready for it. Let me know what were movies last year that you went and saw that you just didn't like and were like, oh man. Let me know down below. I'm kind of curious. Get a conversation going about that. Thank you guys all for watching and watching all my top 10 videos here. I really appreciate it. Click the like button down below if you like the video. Please share this video out there. Click the subscribe button if you want to see more videos by me, Big D. Click the little bell at the corner, and that'll notify you when I do put up a video. Thank you guys all again for watching so much. I really, really appreciate this. It's just me talking to you guys for like 16 minutes, so I appreciate you guys sticking through this. Everybody take care out there. Always keep punching in order. You never know what you're going to find. And as always, live long and prosper. Bye.